Welcome to Boomhauer69's channel. And today Boomhauer is going to do a tiny house talk video here. My goal is on this channel is to, in the near future, is to do some variety of different tiny house builds. What I've been having in mind lately for like tiny house and even off-grid like living type situation, tiny houses, off-grid living, and even like portable, mobile tiny houses as well. My idea is to one idea is to be able to go on like Craigslist, Marketplace, and the different types of classified websites out there and apps that where people post stuff for sale or for free or whatever. Those types of websites, even the local newspapers as well. Do some tiny house builds, see what I could come up with. Like basically, like I think it would be neat in the future to do some challenges where when I get a truck and trailer, be able to do some challenges where I try to find a bunch of free stuff and figure out how to build like a tiny house structure from the ground up and stuff. Was just using only free items and like do like I guess you call it an upcycle kind of thing, and then also do just a way where go to a lumber yard, buy a bunch of lumber, try to build a tiny house structure from the ground up and stuff. And also buy like a regular storage shed and figure out how to convert it into a tiny house. Take a pre-built and already built storage shed and buy it, and then figure out how to turn it into a small tiny house cabin structure, whatever you like to call it, and that sort of thing. I also even thought about even buying RV campers and figuring out how to convert an RV camper into a nice like tiny house structure build or something and stuff. I really like how some of the like older, smaller campers were, and I always think it would be neat to take like an old vintage, small camper like them. There was a company years ago called Canned Ham, Bambi. I think there was a company called Franklin that made a few smaller campers, and like Shasta, I know they made some small campers, and take like small campers and try to build like a small, nice, comfortable little, like, tiny cabin, mobile, tiny cabin, tiny house, whatever you would prefer to call it. And then as far as, like, doing product reviews, there are a ton of stuff out there for, like, just tiny house related products out there that I've seen that I think would be cool to buy and review and stuff, like propane small on-demand hot water heaters, from little funny water pumps and little camping showers, and a ton of, like, I guess you call it tiny house camping related items that I want to do reviews on and stuff, and show them off and stuff like you see out there and stuff, and do product reviews related to tiny house stuff and different things. And now, like the camper idea, one idea I thought about doing with like campers, like I look around at campers and stuff, because in the near future, for my personal self, I do want to get another RV camper. I used to have a nice pop-up camper, but what happened was with the pop-up camper, I used to have the cable that allows you to crank up your roof to fold out the beds and stuff, broke on it, so I sold it a long time ago, and I don't have that camper no more. But I used to own what they call a pop-up camper, and I thought about in the near future, when I have a truck to do so, I would plan on getting a nice little pull-behind camper and stuff. And so I kind of think about that as well. I keep that in mind, and so I'm always looking at campers. I see every so often pops up in my listing old campers that need repair and remodel and stuff, and I think how it'd be neat to even maybe remodel them, or simply gut the inside out and make it a whole completely little awkward cabin and stuff. I even thought about recently, been thinking about how neat it would be to take one of the motor kind of campers that had like the double doors on them and put like a dividing wall on the inside and split it into like 2 rooms and make a small like 2-room little camper where you have one room has a twin bed, the other one has a twin bed, and they all got enough room for like a twin bed and a little nightstand and make it a small little 2-room camper kind of thing and stuff. And I even, for me personally, I even debated whether or not to go with a regular pull-behind camper, fifth wheels, or motorhomes and stuff. So I'm always looking at campers and stuff because I like that sort of thing. So it gives me some ideas for ideas on this YouTube channel to do. I think that would be neat to do, maybe get into restoring campers and stuff and all that. But since I'm no carpenter or builder type person and don't know how to do repair work and that sort of thing, I'd have to hire somebody to help guide me into doing it right. Because the thing is, if I get into tiny house building or restoring campers on this channel and stuff like that, I would want to have a builder there, a professional carpenter, licensed carpenter, builder guy there to help me and make sure it's done right. So if I decided, oh, I didn't want this structure and I decided just to build something for a video and I later on decided I didn't want it, if I passed it on to somebody else, either sold it or passed it on to somebody else, I'd want it done correctly in the right way. So that way, if I passed it on to somebody, it wouldn't be a big burden on them or a headache where they would have to try to fix the mistakes I made and stuff. That's why if I did those sort of things, I would hire me a carpenter, builder guy to help me and make sure everything is done properly and correctly and stuff. Yeah. And I even thought about, even like with order campers, even like the smaller or hard shell campers, I even thought about some of the smaller order ones, restoring one of those, like fixing it up real nice and even donating one to like a homeless person or something. Because the neat thing about that, making a portable, taking a camper and then fixing up real nice and giving it to a homeless person, is the good thing about that is if the homeless person has a way to transport it to another location, like if he knows a friend or somebody's got a truck and they can tow it to their property or somewhere else, it would make it a lot easier on the homeless person. Or if simply the homeless person, for whatever reason, had to vacate the premises and leave that camper there, it would make it totally a lot easier on whoever had to deal with the camper to be able to move it out of the situation. Because if I was to buy a camper, fix it up, and restore it, I'd make sure that it was able to safely tow it down the road, move it, and stuff. So that way, in the event if a homeless person had to either you gave it to a homeless person, they had to leave it there on the property, vacate the premises for whatever reason, whoever would have to simply deal with moving the camper wouldn't have a burden of just some old junk, dilapidated camper that looks like it's going to fall apart on them. They would see that it was roadworthy and they wouldn't have too much of a burden of simply trying to move it themselves or whatever the case may be and stuff. So that's one thing I've been thinking about, because I do want to help the homeless out in my area, help people out. I know a thrift store in my area that does a lot of helping needy, and they have a lot of homeless people coming to them and asking for help all the time, and I think it would be neat to later on down the line, when I have the funding to do so, be able to get with them and maybe hash out a plan to help them out and stuff, and like the homelessness. What this place is, there's a store next in the next town over to me called Pocket Chain 360. They're just a simple second-hand, like, thrift store, clothing store, whatever you'd like to call it, and stuff. Just your typical second-hand thrift store that sells clothes and household items and different things, and they help out a lot of the homeless in the area. Like, for example, a homeless person can come to them and say, hey, I need clothes and stuff, and they're willing to help out the homeless in that way and say, yeah, go look at whatever you need and help them out and stuff. And I'd probably in the future, when I know I have the funds and money to do so, I would get with them and see what would be needed in the area for the homeless in the area, get with them, because them people that run that, they know more about the homeless situation in my area more than I do, and they would be, and wanting to help out the homeless and people in my area, that would be a good start to simply go to figure out, okay, how can I help the homeless in my area and stuff. So yeah, but that's my goal, is to do some sort of tiny house builds, like even budget, like I said before, budget challenge tiny house builds as well, where I take a certain amount of money and try to see what I can build and stuff. But when I do those, if I'm gonna do like budget challenge on this channel, like tiny house budget challenge videos, I'm gonna be realistic. I'm not gonna be like some of these people who just for entertaining purposes will buy weird stuff and try to build a little shelter out of it. Like, some people will try to take saran wrap and cardboard boxes. You know, if I'm gonna do actual like a little tiny house build challenge, I would do more of a something more realistic kind of challenge video, and a more realistic budget build challenge on this channel. I may do some of those kind of weird challenges down the line. You know, that all depends on basically what direction my YouTube channel goes and how much money I have at the time and stuff. But granted, some of those kind of oddball tiny house budget challenge builds are entertaining. I watch them on YouTube. I get a kick out of them sometimes and stuff, but I would try to be a little more realistic. And if I do any of that sort of stuff, I would have a professional carpenter builder guy helping me out, saying, okay, this is what you need to do, and this is how stuff is built to code and stuff. So that way, after the video was done, and I decided I didn't want it, and I wanted to either sell it or just give it away to somebody, it wouldn't be a huge burden on the next person who had to deal with it. So, yeah. But there you have it. There's what my plans for tiny house builds are. I do plan on doing those channels. So there's another talk video for y'all that like these sort of videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you ain't already subscribed to Boomhauer69 channel, because that's going to help me and grow this channel. And please, please share my content. If there's a video that you like on this channel and you think it was great, share that video with everyone you know, because I pay attention to what videos get views and stuff, and it really will help me out in figuring out this whole YouTube thing and stuff. So please share the videos that you like and comment your thoughts. If you have any suggestions or ideas, I'd love to hear them and stuff. Give this video a thumbs up. Hope you all have a good day, and thank you for watching.